That you got that heat.
Точно это точно.
That you got that heat. That you got that heat.
Точно это точно.
Hello guys and welcome to the VPG Masters Cup live draw. We are here for the knockout stages. Before we get started, let's show you how the group stages went. Okay guys, so starting off with Group A, we have NUI who finished top of the group in a very strong group as well. We've got Cyfox, Zebra and Showmans. But obviously NUI came top of the group, will become in pot number 1. And Cyfox with the runners up in pot number 2. Very close, only by 1 point in it. But NUI did become champion of group number A. Moving across into Group B, Magic Storm from Poland managed to win 5 from 6, coming top with 15 points. In second, PT Rangers from Portugal, winning 4, drawing 1 and losing 1, also with 13 points. So those two go through into the knockout stages. Magic Storm in pot 1, PT Rangers in pot 2. Moving across into Group C, we have Revolt from Germany. Did a fantastic debut appearance for the VPG Masters, their first ever games on the VPG, winning 4 and drawing 2. So they're the team to be unbeaten in this competition so far, with 14 points, coming top of the group in pot number 1. And 295, a familiar face, played in the Esports Premier, in second place, but do go into pot number 2. Moving across into Group D, QPR Esports winning 5 from 6, still unbeaten as well, with 16 points into pot number 1 from Group D, and Juventus Bucharesti in pot number 2, finishing second in Group D. Before I move across into Group E, welcome all to the stream. We have MCN, Cav the Don, HQO, AC Avenger and Pedro. Welcome all. And best of luck for the knockout stages. Moving across into Group E, we have Silence from Spain, winning 5 from 6, still unbeaten with 16 points. And Be Humble, very, very strong side as well, with 13 points, but going into pot 2. Moving across into Group F, we have Remember the Name. I think they used to be called Pokemon. New organisation, Remember the Name. Winning 3, drawing 3, and still unbeaten in this competition with 12 points. In second, we have Echelon FC from Russia, winning 3 from 6, drawing 2, and losing 1 with 11 points. So those two will be going through into the knockout stages. Remember the Name in pot 1 and Echelon in pot 2. In Group G, we have Funcop FC, played in the Esports Premier last season with 13 points in the first place position into pot 1, and Fangs, their debut competition in the Masters, winning 3 from 6, drawing 1 and losing 2, but also qualified in the second position in pot 2. And for the last group, we have Group H, Back to Basics, winning 6 from 6, 22 goal difference with 18 points. What a competition start for Back to Basics. And Monster AC managed to get that runners-up position in pot number 2 for the VPG Masters. Okay guys, how the pots will go on. Pot number 1, we have NUI, Magic Storm, Revolt, QPR Esports, Silence, Remember the Name, Funcop FC and Back to Basics. Now pot number 2, we have Cyfox, PT Rangers, 295, Juventus Bucharesti, Be Humble, Echelon, Fangs and Monster AC. So how it's going to work, guys, for example, if you, let's say for example, the first team we pull up is Revolt, and the team from pot 2, if it's the team that was in the same group in the group stages, we will choose someone else. So we'll put that team into the next fixture. We're going to make it so that you're not playing the same teams that you were playing in the group stages. So if they come out, I'll tell you what's going to happen and which fixture they're going to move across to. So for example, let's see who was in Revolt's group. Give me a second. Make it a little bit easier to understand. So in Revolt's group was... Let's take a look. I'll go back to Revolt. Okay, so for example, if we pull out Revolt from pot number 1 and then we pull out 295, what will happen is Revolt will stay in the first fixture and then 295 will be pushed onto the next fixture after that. So we won't have teams playing against the same teams in the group stages into the knockout stages, if that makes sense. Okay guys, how the draw is going to be done. That's the fixtures there, guys. There's going to be 8 fixtures, round of 16, and then for the live draw, the balls are here, 8 in pot number 1 and 8 in pot number 2. Are you guys ready? So let's get started. So for the first fixture, at the top, we're going to do all the teams in pot number 1 first, and then we'll do the teams in pot number 2 afterwards. So let's get the pot number 1 ready for this draw. Give us a moment, my virtual system's loading. Give us a moment, I do apologise. Okay, it looks like it's coming back. I'm not sure if you can see my screen, guys, but it's... Let me close it off and then reload it back up. Give me a moment. Do apologise. While we do that, let's take a look at some of the content that we saw from some of the teams, and then we'll be back and ready. Okay guys, it looks like the virtual system is back up, and when I do apologise, they did a system update and we are ready for the live draw. Thank you all for being very patient. Look at this, I'll show you my screen, and I'm not sure why it's doing it, but as you can see, it's turned itself the other way. I do apologise for this system error. I'm not sure why it's doing it today. It's been fine in the previous times that we've done the draws. It just seems to be not going right for this one. I'll go back. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so moving across into pot 1. Everything is back to normal. I do apologise. Thank you all for waiting. Let me know which teams you do play for in the comments section. And the virtual ball system is live now. We've got it working. Thank you all guys for being patient. Not sure what was wrong. MCM. Oh, let's see what all for the sand said. Pot 1 gets home in which game? Yeah. So for example, pot number 1 teams, they'll get home in the first game, so they'll play first. Okay, so these are the pot 1 teams. As you can see on the stream, guys, all the pot 1 teams will be doing first. So all the pot 1 teams will be going at home for the first leg, and then obviously it will be booed for the other leg. There is away goals. I'll explain the away goal system now. Basically work into how the game works. So for example, if it's 1-1 for the first game, and let's just say it's 9-9 for the second game, because the game allows extra time and penalties from when the game is even, this is what it's going to go into. So if the game's a draw for the first 2 games, if the game allows extra time and penalties, that is what the decider will be. However, obviously, if the game is, let's say, 2-1 and 1-0, that's when away goals will be introduced. Obviously, there's no extra time and penalties feature, so that is why we do the away goals from games aren't even like that. Okay guys, so let's get started. The first team that's getting pulled up from pot number 1. So the first team in pot number 1 is Back to Basics. So Back to Basics are the first team to be pulled out. Pot number 1, Back to Basics. I'd say probably one of the favourites to win the competition. They were the only team to win 6 from 6 in the group stages. And that's Back to Basics, a team from France. Now let's move across into the next team from pot number 1. So the next team going into the next fixture is Remember the Name. Now remember the name, they did have a name changed. I think they were called Pokemon. Then obviously we've got a new name now, so Remember the Name. Another team from France. And they are into the second fixture. Now let's move across into the next team from pot number 1. And it's NUI. NUI from Spain. They had a name change as well. They were originally called Linares. I'm pretty sure it was Linares. And now obviously they're in the new organisation NUI. For the future competitions. Pikachu. Hello Doyle. So that's NUI, the next team being pulled out. Now for the next one, the next and the 4th team to be pulled out of pot number 1 is Funcop FC from Spain. So Funcop FC from Spain. They played in the Esports Premier as well last season. Did very well for their debut competition. Funcop FC are the 4th team to be pulled out. Moving across into the 5th Only 4 teams left from pot number 1. And for the next one, we have Magic Storm from Poland. Magic Storm from Poland. Give us a moment, guys. I think it's this one. Yes, it is. Magic Storm from Poland. Nice logo as well. Dragon. They are the 5th team for the knockout stage. Now there's 3 teams left. Let's take a look to see who will be the next one from pot number 1. And then it will start getting exciting. That's when the fixtures will come from pot number 2. So from this one, we have Silence from Spain. Another fantastic team. I think they just missed out on the title last season. So that's Silence from Spain. Trying to find their logo right now. There we go. They've had a new logo as well. It's pretty similar. I think they had like a green section in the middle of their logo, but it's changed now. It's all black, which looks nice, black and grey. So that's Silence's new logo. They are the 6th team to be pulled out of pot number 1. Now let's move across into the 7th. So for the 7th team and the second to last team in pot number 1, we have Revolt from Germany. Revolt from Germany are doing fantastic in this competition. Any Revolt players in the stream? And they are the 7th team. And then for the last, but we'll do the draw anyway, for the last team to be pulled out of pot number 1 is QPR Esports. I can see a lot of QPR players in the chat. Welcome to the stream, guys. QPR Esports are the 8th team to be pulled out. Guys, I'm going to get the virtual ball system ready for pot number 2. Also, I'm going to get the... Give me a moment. I'm going to get this system up and running as well, because I'm going to double check and make sure that you guys aren't playing the same teams from the group stages. So I'm going to have a little look at both when the fixture comes, and just to make sure everything is perfect for you guys for the knockout stages. Okay, guys, so we are ready. The pot 2 system is ready. Revolt, we've got Revolt players in here. Don't know how to pronounce your name, Devitrius. But yeah, welcome to the stream. Let's see who the first fixture is going to be. The first fixture will be playing against Back to Basics from France. So let's move across into that now. Before we do move across, let's take a look to see who Back to Basics had in their group, so then we know straight away. So if it's Monster AC, then that Monster AC will be moved onto the second fixture. So hopefully it's not that. Let's take a look now. So Back to Basics will be playing against... So for the first fixture, Back to Basics versus Echelon FC. Echelon FC, they were not in the same group, so that fixture will go ahead. Oh, I think I've made a mistake. Yeah, I've made a mistake. Give us a moment. Do apologise. So it's Echelon. So Echelon FC have been pulled up against Back to Basics. Just getting their logo now. Adding them, I do apologise, I have to make it. It might appear very big. Do apologise for this. So that's Echelon FC against Back to Basics. It was just one that I missed out. There we go. That is the first fixture from Russia. Thanks, guys. Back to Basics versus Echelon FC from Russia. Very strong fixture that will be. Let's take a look to see how Echelon FC did in the group stages as well. So Echelon were in Group F. They won 3, drew 2. They've only lost 1 in the competition so far. So let's see how they'll do against Back to Basics. Now moving across into the second fixture, which is Remember the Name. And they'll be playing against... Let's take a look to see who'll be playing against. Fangs. So Remember the Name will be playing against Fangs. Let's take a look to see if they were in the same group. Remember the Name, nope. And Fangs. So that fixture will go ahead. Remember the Name versus Fangs. Any Fangs players into the chat today? Any Fangs? Nice logo from France as well. So Remember the Name from France, taking on Fangs, also from France. So for the next fixture will be NUI. Let's take a look to see who Linares had in their group. They were originally called Linares, but NUI had Cyfox. So if Cyfox does get pulled out of this next fixture, Cyfox will be moved on to the next one. So let's take a look. So NUI will be playing against... So if it is Cyfox that comes up, they will not be playing against each other. But see, it's a good job I explained that then. So Cyfox Esports, they will not be playing against each other because they were in the same group. As you can see, NUI and Cyfox. NUI and Cyfox. So Cyfox will be playing against Funcop. So Cyfox will be moving across into the next fixture against Funcop. The reason for that, guys, we did explain before the stream started, because NUI and Cyfox were in the same group, as you can see on the screen, they cannot play each other in the knockout stages. So Cyfox has been moved onto the next fixture, which will play against Funcop. So moving across into the next team from pot number 2, they will definitely be playing against NUI. So let's take a look to see who will be playing against them. It's PT Rangers. So PT Rangers will be playing against NUI. I know that's a strong fixture as well. PT Rangers had a very strong start to the group. A team from Portugal. And they'll be playing against NUI. So we've got 4 fixtures left. Magic Storm, Silence, Revolt and QPR. Let's take a look to see who we're playing against Magic Storm next. But before we get started, let's take a look to see who Magic Storm had in the group stages. They had PT Rangers, but PT Rangers have just been called up in the knockout stages. So the next fixture will be all perfect. So the next fixture is Magic Storm, and they will be playing against... Be Humble. So Be Humble from Italy are playing against Magic Storm. Be Humble have had a new logo change as well. I'm going to show you guys now. I preferred the old logo, but let me know what you guys prefer as well. So that is the new Be Humble logo for Italy. And they are playing against Magic Storm. Now for the next one is Silence. Let's take a look to see how Silence got on in the group. So they had Be Humble. So Be Humble have just been called up. So the next fixture is also perfect. Silence will be taking on... Silence will be taking on Juventus Bucharesti. So Juventus Bucharesti versus Silence. What a fixture that is so far. Now Revolt, 2 fixtures left, I'm pretty sure all will be fine now. I think, let's take a look at the group stages. Revolt had, let's take a look in QPR. Revolt had 295. 295 haven't been called up yet, I don't think. So if Revolt and 295 do get pulled up in the knockout stages, it won't happen. And Juventus Bucharesti, so QPR fine. So 295 is the Revolt one. So Revolt, let's take a look to see who they'll be playing in the knockout stages. Revolt versus Monster AC. So Revolt are playing Monster AC from France. Also their debut campaign in the VPG, Revolt versus Monster AC. And then for the last fixture, I'm pretty sure it's QPR versus 295. But we'll do the virtual system anyway. It is 295, as we saw, QPR Esports against 295. So that is your round of 16, guys. We have Back to Basics from France taking on Echelon FC from Russia. We have Remember the Name from France taking on Fangs from France. We have NUI from Spain taking on PT Rangers from Portugal. We have Funcop FC from Spain taking on Cyfox Esports from Germany. We have Magic Storm from Poland taking on Be Humble from Italy. We have Silence from Spain taking on Juventus Bucharesti from Romania. We have Revolt from Germany taking on Monster AC from France. And QPR Esports from England will be taking on 295 Esports from Portugal. Let me know in the comments section who you think what you think is the hardest fixture for the round of 16. If I had to just look at it and predict, I would probably say QPR Esports and 295 Esports. I'd probably go with something like that. Obviously, because they're both in the Esports Premier. They finished very similar in the table as well, quite high up in the standings. So I'd probably go with QPR Esports and 295. So because it's the round of 16, there will be no casters available for round of 16. But for the next round, that's when the casters will be involved. So we're going to be broadcasting all the biggest games, what we think that will happen on the game nights. And we'll get them on the YouTube channel from George, who is our streamer from the UK. That is it, guys. Thank you all for watching. That's the round of 16. It will be available on the VPG app and website in the next hour. Once the standings and the fixtures are in place on the website, we will post them in the Masters Cup chat on Discord. On the VPG app, it will only show one fixture. So just bear in mind, it only shows one fixture. You only need to do one team sheet from both of the games. That's all you need to do, guys. So if, let's say for example, if you need to do stats, you do your stats from both games into one match report. So for example, if QPR Esports, it will show one match against 295 on the app. All you need to do is you need to, once you play them twice, you need to put the scores together and submit the match in one match report. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you all for watching, and best of luck in the knockout stages for the VPG Masters Cup. Take care.